First of all, thank you for staying with me this evening. The last presentation is always a little bit tough. My name is Yeran. I'm a co-founder at Done IT Education, which is located in Kiev and specializes in the IT training. I explain in a minute. Co-founder, it means that there is other founders who is doing the job. I am located in Israel. I'm coming here once in a while, I think once in a month. This is it. This was my lecture. That's the problem. Guys, can you start from the beginning?
Yeah, this happens sometimes. Don't worry.
No worry.
I just saw the mouse moving, so. Yep, we're back.
Yeah, all right. And so I'm located in Israel, coming here once in a while, and there is a bunch of a team that is doing the job. So what we are going to talk about today is about the IT skills shortage and the way to resolve it, and from my experience from Israel and other places all around the world. And a little bit about myself. This is me at the age of 5, and these are my two good friends. On the right hand, I see there is some gray hair guys here. So on the right hand, my friend from the age of 13 or 14, do you know what it is on the right hand? Guys? That's right, the Apple Macintosh 2, yeah, one of the first versions. I think it was my closest friends in the age of 14. And on the left hand, the first IBM PC from 1981, that's right. Okay, so I grew up with these two nice friends, and when I turned 18 in Israel, you have to go to the army, boys and girls. So I spent in the army from the age of 18 to 25 in a unit which is called Mamram. Mamram is the training for the software developers, and I'm doing this as well today in the reserve forces. And then I got out of the army, and I think that the best thing that I had in mind is to open the same concept in the civil world. So what I've done is established a company called John Bryce, which is now the largest IT training center in Israel, which dominates with about 70% of the market share. And then I founded the IT training center in China and in Turkey and in Hungary and eventually in Kiev and in Georgia, and I love it. And throughout the years, I was responsible for more than 30,000 IT professionals in the Israeli market, which is really a big number. And other than this, I'm dealing with software development, outsourcing, offshoring, etc. All of these software services in Israel. I was responsible for a company which was about 2,000 people that is dealing with offshore, nearshore, and I will tell about this in a minute. In my other part of life, I am angel investors in various startups, and some of them in the CRM world, in the security, in the IoT, in the medical health, and the marketing, in the DevOps, etc. And what I've learned about startups, that you have to be a little bit of a crazy to succeed. This is my belief, okay? Okay, for my belief on successful startups that I've been part of them. But by the way, you can either succeed or totally fail, right? It's not something in the middle. And by the way, as Israelis, most of Israelis, what they want to do is to have their own startup. If I'm sitting with a bunch of youngsters and I'm asking the question, how many of you want to have their own startups? 100% of the hands will be raised. And I'm telling them, you know that the odds of success in startups is, how much do you know? The odds of success out of, yes, 3 to 5%. Okay, 5% I'm optimistic, 3% is realistic, okay? This is the real numbers. Okay, and now you're telling them, guys, there's 3% of success. You really want to have your own startup? Yes, everybody wants to fail. That's the life in Israel, by the way. Okay? So this is what I'm doing now. Yes. So what we're going to have today, we'll talk about the skill shortage in the high-tech sector with a lot of Israeli perspective, because a lot of experience that I have and a lot of demand that I see in the market. And I will give you some examples of how we can try to fill the gap. We cannot resolve it. We can try to resolve it. Okay? There is not an absolute answer about this. There is a lot of ways that we can try to do. And I'm starting this skill shortage with life experience that I had. This is Mazda 323. I hope that I took the right picture. Yeah? This is Mazda. You know what is Mazda, right? In Israel, Mazda is the most selling car for years. I'm talking about 15 years, 20 years. Really, most selling cars. So I think it was in 2000. 2000 was the peak of the previous, one of the previous waves in the high-tech business in Israel. In 2001, everything collapsed. 2000 was the peak. And I was sitting with one of the candidates that I had. I had a candidate, and we closed all the terms. There was one issue. Can you imagine what was the issue? It's connect to Mazda 323. What was the issue that was open with the candidate? Sorry? No mileage limit, no limit. And with you, no limit. No speaking Japanese, no necessary. No problem with, you know, in Israel, every high-tech person has a company car. I just forgot to tell. If you're in Israel, everybody have company cars, okay? So I'm putting this in blue. The problem was that he wanted a blue car, but we were a corporate. We had two colors, white or gray. This was the agreement with the leasing company. They don't have blue cars, actually. He wants a blue car. He didn't come to work, by the way. We didn't close the deal. So this is exactly what was in 2000. Now we have different employee-employer discussion. Two things are now in these discussions. By the way, not the money, not the cars. You give them whatever car that they want. Two other issues is the place of the office. And I've put here, I don't know if you see, Rothschild. Who's been to Tel Aviv here? There are some guys. Do you know where is Rothschild in Tel Aviv? Rothschild is in the center of Tel Aviv. In the center of Tel Aviv, Facebook decided to open an R&D center. Yes, this is the view from, in the left side, this is the view from Facebook office. You see the Tel Aviv, you see the sea, very nice, yeah? And you can sit like this and relax. Everybody now wants to work in Rothschild Street. I'm serious. My son, I have a 26-year-old son, okay? He is working now as in digital marketing job in one of the Israeli startups. He is traveling every day from Haifa. Do you know where is Haifa? 110 kilometers, okay, from Tel Aviv. Every day he's traveling from Haifa to Tel Aviv, to Rothschild, to work with his friends in Rothschild. Okay, so this is first issue of hiring. So by the way, you see a phenomenal flow of startups that are opening their offices only in Rothschild area in Tel Aviv. And you ask this entrepreneur why to waste the money of the company in Rothschild, and what does he say? I cannot hire anyone if I'm not in Rothschild in Tel Aviv. Okay, so this is one example of what's going on now in Israel. The second is about 10 bis. Now, I know that you don't speak Hebrew. So 10 bis, it's like in English, give a bite. Give a bite. Okay, give a bite. This is 10 bis. Okay, it's a card that an employee gets the card, and he has free access to restaurants. So the issue now is which restaurants are in the cards. You see, Gomiu published their yellow book in Israel with all the restaurants in Tel Aviv. So now the deal is about which restaurants and what is the subsidize from the company in eating lunch. It's much worse than the blue car, you agree, right? So this is the situation now, just to give you some hints about the skill shortage in Tel Aviv, okay, and I will talk about this later. So if we're talking about software developers shortage and going to the United States as an example, one of the latest survey that I've seen is about almost a quarter of a million software developers jobs that are open, unfilled. And the problems, as an example in the States, but it's the same all over the world, is that, as an example, only 30% of high schools teach computer science, and all the university and colleges provides only 30,000 graduates per year. And with unemployment rate of 1.9% for software developer nationwide, it means, by the way, that there is no unemployment, 1.9%. Someone explained to me one time years ago that something between 3 to 4%, actually, this is no unemployment. Okay, and this is the situation over there, with 1 million unfilled programmer jobs in 2020. And one of the nicest articles that I've read is from Bloomberg, and I refer you to this Bloomberg article about the demand for programmers, that this is from March 18. And if you're talking about the cybersecurity, the ISACA, which is the Information Security Association, predict about 1 million unfilled security jobs. And if you are going into Israel, so let me drill a little bit into Israel. So how many of you have been to Israel? I saw a bunch of you, okay? So you'll see that Israel is, at the end of the day, 4 major cities. Tel Aviv is here. Haifa is in the north, Jerusalem and Beersheba. So you can either walk in one of these, but most probably you will be in Tel Aviv area. With unemployment rate, which is now not 4.6, it's 4.2. With a lot of startups, of course. Tel Aviv is in the 5th place in the world in the startup hub community, with a lot of startups. And one of the key issues of the skill shortage in Israel, as an example, is all of these R&D centers of international companies that opened their R&D center in Israel. So you can see Facebook, and you can see Intel with 5,000 people, and HP and Pfizer, a lot of companies, about 300 out of them. And what do they do to the Israeli market? They take all the skills that are in the market, they double the average salaries. By the way, actually double. I have a friend who is CEO of one of the Israeli high-tech companies, who now explained to me that he had a graduate of university with 2 years of experience in artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning, who was getting about $10,000 per month. 2 years of experience. Google came, $22,000. You cannot compete with this. So this is the situation now regarding the R&D centers. And when you're talking about skill shortage, just to give you the numbers, there are 300,000 employees in all the high-tech sector. Okay, these are the official numbers. This is out of the 9 million population. Okay, 300,000 out of 9 million population. This is not Ukraine. Okay, only 9 million. Out of them, 4 million total employees in the market. Now we have about 15,000 unfilled jobs in the high-tech sector. There is no way that Israel can fulfill this job. No way. Okay, all the things that I will talk about are things that we are doing to try to make things a little bit better. But there is no way. And everybody knows this. By the way, the ones that produce the latest report, it's called the Report of Human Resources in High-Tech Industry in Israel. I've put this in Hebrew because one interesting thing, it was published only in Hebrew. It was never officially translated. You know why? Because if it will be translated, it is official, okay, nobody will open an R&D center in Israel. Really. So they explained to me that they are not translating this officially. Of course, it's running out in the market. So 2 companies or 2 organizations were responsible for this very interesting report. You can take the report in Hebrew. I can send it to you, okay, but it's in Hebrew. The Israel Advanced Technology Industries Association, which is very strong in Israel. And the second is Startup Nation Central, which is a non-profit organization, which its aim is to promote Israel worldwide as a startup nation. So this was the report. The report said that we have missing 15,000 jobs with 3.9 countrywide unemployment rate and 6,000 active startups. This is a real problem. And another problem is the attrition rate. You see, this is another report from IITI. It says that the personal leave now is 8.7 and the layoffs is 4.1. We are almost 13% attrition rate. It's awful, but this is for years. So not only that we have a problem of leaving, okay, we don't succeed to hire, and we have 15,000 lack of jobs. So this is a real problem. By the way, to all of you who are making business with Israel, who is selling to Israel? Okay. I don't know if you're aware of this site, Startup Nation Finder. Amazing tool to understand what's going on in the market. This tool, Startup Nation Finder, this is exactly what you do in Google, gives you the ability to query these 6,065 companies, these are the number of startups that in the database, and see which one in which phase with how many employees. So eventually, companies either going to a lot of hiring when they raise money. So you here have immediately who raised money, how much, where it is located, et cetera, et cetera. So if you located all the companies that are in Tel Aviv area, Rothschild specifically, that just raise money, they are a very good potential for you because they cannot hire. Okay, understand? All right. So this is Startup Nation Finder, just a remark. So what do? We have a couple of ideas. First of all, and a lot of companies here are dealing with this, is outsource to other countries. Amazing. I'm doing software services for the last 20-something years, and now this outsourcing is in its peak. And I'm not saying that this is the highest peak that can be. Okay? The second is to find nearshore solutions. When I'm talking about nearshore solution, I will give you some examples. Then you have an option of importing professionals. Interesting. Now starting in Israel. I'm coming from the training business, so train and retrain. Co-op with academics. I've seen some very nice initiatives that I've done in Lviv with academics. I've read some news about the IT cluster initiatives with universities, okay? A lot of activities, and there is a lot of activities that we are doing in Israel. Start early about the K-12 education. I will talk a little bit about this. I will talk about the 40 plus. Interesting, okay? And you have to invest in employer branding. Don't get 13% of attrition rate. Try to lower it. So now employer branding is a hit now in Israel. I don't know how many of you are doing employer branding. Now everybody is doing employer branding. Okay, I will talk in a minute. So what is the state of the offshore market in Israel? There was a very interesting survey that was done by a placement company called Etosia, which published a survey that Israeli companies transfer work out of Israel worth 20,000 employees. Worth, by the way, almost $1 billion annually, if it was in Israel. This is amazing. The second one, by the way, is to whom? So Ukraine, 28%. Yeah, everybody is happy. I can tell you from all of my colleagues, everybody is happy in general, okay? Almost every time there is a problem with service, okay? Everywhere. But in general, the word of mouth is that the Ukrainian job in the software development is great. So you see this in the numbers. You have Poland, you have Bulgaria. I had a software offshore development center in Bulgaria for years. In Belarus now is rising in Israel. They are spending a lot of money, Belarusian companies, together with the government, of trying to promote themselves. A lot of money, Belarusian. India, going down. In Israel, okay, the state of Israel. India is going down. Romania is going up. Macedonia, a little bit. And others. What are the others? Interesting to see. Almost no Russia. Okay? Almost no Russia, although a lot of immigrants from Russia are in Israel. Almost no Russia. A little bit of Slovakia. China. No good. No good. Guys, I had a software development center in China. It wasn't working. The mentality problems were huge. Okay? It wasn't working. And we closed it. We had 50 people. At the end of the day, we closed it. Okay? Kazakhstan, Armenia, now starting to evolve. And you'll start to think and hear about Latin America, which I know is all over the world is a huge place. Okay? We are starting to hear about this in Israel. So you see that the state of the offshore market is very active. And what is very interesting is that is growing in a pace of 20% per year. This is very interesting. So I was talking with colleagues here, and they was asking me if there is a business from Israel to Ukraine. Yes, there is a lot of business, yes. And there is a lot of potential yet, although there is a lot of competitors. I've been in the presentation about the dumb marketing emails. With the examples, I get all these emails as well, right? Yes, everybody is very active, okay? Everybody is very active, but there is a lot of potential now. And you know, I'm not a professional in which country to go, okay? And I'm not a consultant to this. I'm sure that you guys that are dealing with the offshore business are much better than me in explaining why to go to Ukraine. Okay? So I just saw one of the surveys that I liked is the CUNY Global Service Location Index. I don't know if you know this. Okay? Well-respected one that gives 3 items. Financial attractiveness, it means the price. People's skills and availability. And the third, business environment. So you see that even now, number 1 is India. But for me, as Israeli, India is not good. Number 2 is China. For me, as Israeli, it's not good. Malaysia, I cannot enter Malaysia. Indonesia, I cannot enter Indonesia. Brazil, it's too far. Vietnam, I don't want to work with them. Philippines, I don't want to work with them. Thailand, I don't want to. Chile, I cannot. Colombia, too much. Sri Lanka, too much. Okay, now, Poland is the first one that we can discuss. Really? No, I give you now how the mind of Israeli thinks. I'm an Israeli manager. This is exactly, I see this. I say, okay, now Poland. All right, number 12, that's okay. Mexico, no. Egypt, I don't want to be. Bulgaria, second. Czech Republic, third. Germany, I think it's a mistake. Never heard of company outsource the work to Germany. Never, never. In Israel, guys, maybe other part of Europe, I have no idea. In Israel, nobody. Okay, Romania, I know. United Kingdom, I'm going to see football. No, I know. Okay, Peru, no. Bangladesh. By the way, where is Ukraine? Number 24, immediately after Russia. Okay, so at the end of the day, there is a competition between about 4, as you can see. 4 countries. It was Poland, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Romania, Russia, which has said that somehow Israelis don't want to transfer work over there, Ukraine, Estonia. I just heard about this. I never met a company that outsources over there, but there are. Me personally, never met. Hungary. And now it's coming to the price. Everybody's talking about the pricing and the availability. Because for Israeli startup, they just raised money and need to produce its product now, the money is not the most important thing. What is important is the availability of people. He needs to hire 15 people now. And if it costs another $500 per month, that's okay. Because otherwise they will shut down his startup. This is the reality in startups. You raise the money, now bring me a product. And you cannot do this in Israel. We just talked about this a few slides ago. Okay, so this is the great opportunity that you have now regarding Israel. Okay, and this is just another, just one survey that I saw. There are dozens like this, and everybody show you the one that fits his needs. Of course. One nice article that I read that I want to refer to you is from HFS Research. HFS Research. Oh, my back. I'm not young. So HFS Research, who said this one, Phil First, it's from April 13, 2008, who said offshore outsourcing died with Trump. You know why it's died with Trump? Why is this slogan? Because Trump says now, America for the Americans. So he encouraged companies to keep the job in America. So it reflects all the companies that are doing offshore. And what you see here is a survey that have been done in 2014, 2016, and 2018. And the question was, do you think, in what extent is your use of offshoring is likely to change in the next 2 years? Specifically in the IT business. This one is the IT application development. So you can see it's dropped from 20% to 12% to 5%. I have no conclusions on this. Just refer you to this article, very interesting. One that you can read. So we understand the offshore solutions. Now in Israel, there is a trend of nearshore solutions. What is nearshore solution in Israel? I remind you that Israel is from Beersheba to Haifa, is 200 kilometers. And from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, 60 kilometers. So for a Tel Aviv startup to do nearshore, is to send the job to Jerusalem. Okay, do you understand? This is nearshore. Not send it to Cyprus. Not send it to Ukraine. This is totally offshore. Nearshore is to drive 20 minutes in a car to another location. This is nearshore. Okay, so which nearshore opportunities do you have? One of them is one that I was responsible for the establishment about 12 years ago. It's called Talpiot. It is a Hebrew name. We took highly religious women, which usually does not practice software programming at all. And we trained them into software programmers, and it was located near Jerusalem in their own city because they are highly religious. They cannot get out of their city. I had 1,000 women like this. 1,000. Very nice activity, right? It's not now, after years, it's not 1,000, it's about 800. Still working. Amazing. This was a nearshore concept. The pricing was about, let's say, 20 or 30% off the price that he was paying in the center of Israel, but it was very worthwhile. Then you have the same concept in Bnei Brak, in Tel Aviv area. Then you have another concept, again, nearshore concepts, by a company called Galil Software. I have no business connection with them, just telling you the story. Okay, they took Arabic and Jewish working together in the north of Israel. Again, it's a nearshore. It's about 1.5 hours of driving. Nearshore. So these are nice ideas that the problem is that are already implemented. So when you're talking about 50,000 people that are lacking, these are all implemented. Okay, so they are working on this direction, but it's very, very, very slowly. One of the issues in Israel, you have to understand, there is an Israeli Innovation Authority. It's a governmental organization, very strong, very powerful, with a lot of money. And what they do, they subsidize this. So they are saying to you as a company, if you transfer work to Galil Software in the north of Israel, I'm subsidizing 30% of the salary for 3 years. Wow. Take into account that the salaries in the north are 30% down already from the center of Israel. Another 30% is subsidized for 3 years. You are okay. So these are very nice initiatives that are done by the Israeli Innovation Authority. Another idea, you can import professionals. A bunch of Israeli high-tech companies established B in Tel Aviv, Beta. The abbreviation Beta. You can Google it. Beta in Tel Aviv. Companies in Beta are saying to you, you are a software programmer, experienced software programmer outside of Israel. You can apply to a Beta program. You will get $20,000 relocation bonus. You are going to live in Tel Aviv. Guys, not bad to live in Tel Aviv. Again, coming back to Tel Aviv, right? You're going to live in Tel Aviv. We will help you with the education, with the housing, supermarket, whatever you want. Okay, just come. And they started just in the last 6 months. Very nice initiative that they are now starting. And of course, you have the training bootcamps. Okay, what we're doing, we in Dan IT Education Center, as I've done in Israel, we take people who have no knowledge in computer, give them 10 months of training, and then they are junior programmers. We brought the methodology from Israel, from the Mamram, from the Israel Defense Forces, exactly what we've done in the army. We get all the materials coming from Israel, chief trainers are from Israel, etc. And in Israel, by the way, 4,000 graduates per year in these programs. Not bad. Okay, this is the situation. Another program which is very nice is Big Idea Gap Year. We are taking youngsters, students from the States, Australia, South Africa. The Israel Innovation Authority subsidizes, bringing them to Israel, give them 1 year of experience in Israel. What do they do in this 1 year? 6 months they are learning bootcamp, or how to be a software developer, front-end developer, mobile developer, something like this. And another 6 months they are working half-time and traveling Israel. Nice. After this, the ones who want to stay, find them job, and they're staying in Israel. You see a lot of ideas that are trying to narrow, 5 minutes, wow. For the Q&A or for the final? For the final, all right. Okay, so I'm running, all right. Working with the academic institutions, one of the nicest initiatives that I've seen, again, started only this year, is you take the bootcamp style training, you put this in your first year of study. First year of study, not after study. Usually what do you do with academics? In the after the study, when he has a degree, you put some kind of a bootcamp. What we've done, we've reversed it. First year in university, you take the bootcamp, you become a software programmer, junior software programmer, we find you job already, the hours in the bootcamp are counted in your degree. And you got this approved by the Ministry of Education. And it starts working right now. Another nice initiative, it's Ma'agalim Foundation, again, Israeli name. Take people with 20 years plus working in industry, different kind of industry, not computer industry, any kind of industry with 20 years of experience, and transform him to be a computer professional, not programmer, but quality assurance, MCSA, mobile technicians, etc. The Ministry of Finance allocated $25 million only for this kind of program. They anticipate about 1,000 people per year in this program. Who is over 40? You know you have a problem to find your next job if you're a software programmer. So these 3 initiatives trying to get into the work environment, 40 plus people. So they made 3 initiatives. One of them is a job board only for jobs after 40. Agent Work is an incubator that helps you to find a job. And the most interesting one is Future 45 by Mirage Association, which is a venture capital for 40 plus entrepreneurs. They're saying to you, put your own startup, and I will finance it, if you're only 40 plus. Again, very nice idea. And you cannot forget that one of the main aims is to start early. So the Israeli Ministry of Education promotes for the last, I think, 5 years, a program called Skills. It started from the age of 7 till 18 in different tracks. Last year, about 300,000 participants. In Israeli terms, it's very, very big number, okay? And what they do, they are at the end of this program, they are doing something like a cyber competition. This was one of the arenas that it was the cyber competition, and the Israel Defense Forces are involved in this, so he can take the best of class into this. And do not forget that you have to do employer branding. Why do you have to do employer branding? Because you have to lower your attrition rate. If you have high attrition rate, people will leave you. Nobody wants to work at you. So at basics, you have problem of hiring. And now in Israel, it's a hit. Everybody is doing employer branding. If you are a consultant of employer branding, you make a fortune now. Okay? And what everybody is doing is videos about the company. Everybody is doing videos about the company. Okay? So here are some examples. They're all different. So I will take, Natalia, okay, 10 seconds out of each and every video, okay, because I'm running out of time, all right? So Zappos, an American company, yeah, we have.
This way. We're so glad you're here today. You may wonder what we do. Sit back, relax, and...
Natalia, okay, second one.
Why do I love Dropbox?
Dropbox.
Boy, I mean, if you've got a few hours, I can go over it.
So why do I love Dropbox?
Why do I love Dropbox?
Why do I love Dropbox?
Okay, bye-bye.
Just a see-town girl on a Saturday night, looking for the fight of her life. In the real-time world, no one sees her at all. They all say she's crazy, rocking rhythms to the beat of her heart, changing women into life. She has danced into the danger zone, where the dancer becomes the dance. You can cut you like a knife if the gift becomes a bomb. Otherwise, between what will and what will be, she's a maniac, maniac on the floor. And she's dancing like she's never danced before. She's a maniac, maniac on the floor. And she's dancing like she's never danced before.
Rapid 7, how can I help you?
All right. So you see everybody is doing videos. And this concludes my presentation with, where is the last slide? Last slide. This is it. Okay, so you have my emails. Any questions, any help that you need, I'm willing to help. You are invited to visit our facility, our great facility in Kiev of Done IT Education. If you're from a software company, we invite you to join our advisory committee, which have first refusal on the graduates. So I invite you all to take part of this. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Еран. We do have time for one or two questions.
One or two questions? No problem.
Yeah.
One very quick question. Don't you think that there could be a situation upside down when most of Israeli citizens will start work in IT, and you'll have no one to work in kibbutz, to work in factories and stuff like that?
So actually, the problem is that all that I've shown you is a couple of thousand of people, the potential. So we calculated the potential. At the end of the day, it's another 2,000–3,000 people in the market. That's the problem. And we are now lacking 15,000. Not everybody wants to be a software programmer, really. Okay?
Hi, thank you for the lecture. What is the problem with the China mentality?
So first of all, this is for another lecture about 10 mistakes that you're doing when working with China. Okay, I have this in another lecture. But the problem is not with the Chinese, it's with the Israelis. Okay? The Chinese are perfect, okay? But they are working in a way that is not the way that Israeli startups are working. And if people are working here with Israeli startups, they know what I'm talking about, okay? The chaotic atmosphere of Israeli startups does not fit the Chinese way of doing business as a software programmers, okay? And again, maybe it's only my failure, but at the end of the day, you don't see Israeli companies outsource work to China.
Thanks.
Okay, one last question. Do we have here?
All right, thank you very much.
One last question over there, and we're finishing it up.
I don't know. I don't know. I just saw it, and I have to ask friends. Okay, that's a fact. All right?
All right. Thanks, Erran.
Thanks. Thank you very much, guys.